All right, this is jpeg2RAW, show number 101. Recorded on December 17th, 2013. And this is actually our last show of 2013, guys. Going to take the next 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, because both the Christmas show would be on Christmas Eve and a New Year's show would be on New Year's Eve. And we typically take those 2 years off. And believe me, I need it. So y'all made fun of me before. You make fun of me now because I have 6 monitors going.
Wow.
But one of them is dead. It's just been sitting here blinking for the last 2 days. It's dead, and now I feel like everything with the show is off. It just something's not right, because it's a key monitor in production. If this one behind me went out, no big deal. But the other ones are really part of the production. And this one right now is what I usually use to watch the chat and do all that kind of stuff. So I really feel off my game right now. So I got to fix that. There's some other things I need to fix. And I need to break. And then my son tells me tonight his phone is dead. It no longer, he has one like mine. He has the Galaxy S3. And the touch won't work anymore. So we tried the factory reset. We tried everything that you can find online. Doesn't work. Well, we're a year away from, being able to buy a new one. And my wife just had hers stolen, so I just had to pay full price for one of these things.
Well, you can always buy a new one.
I'm assuming you don't have the insurance.
No, I don't have
the insurance.
And now I'm starting to wonder if that was a bad mistake. But, so I had to pay full price for hers, and now it looks like I'm going to have to pay full price for his, which just really, really stinks.
Wow.
Wait, hold on. Doesn't he have a job?
No. he is.
I'm just getting ready because, when my kid gets up there, I'm going to be like, you got a job, right?
He does not have a job. He is a high school swimmer, but when swim season's over, he needs to go look for a job. So
Michael
anyway,
Phelps makes money.
What's that?
Phelps makes money.
Yeah, he does. But that's a rare thing. So, but tonight we want to go, before we get into it, I'm going to go over a few things. But tonight we're going to talk about some of our gift ideas. I know it's a little bit late, but if you're watching this after the fact, you can still go and buy your favorite photographer, which is me. So you also your second favorite photographer, some kind of photography gift. And we all have our ideas, and we have. I have a lot of my stuff laid out, and I know some of our stuff may cross each other. We have a list, but that's fine too if we have some of the same items. Before we get into that, the last show I put out on YouTube will be the last one I have an intro music and exit music. YouTube is sending me the daily email because I guess they want to make the pain last as long as possible. And what they're doing is every day, literally for the last 4 days, I've gotten one email a day. And what they're doing is the music we use for the intro and the exit, I bought as royalty-free music for podcasters. Now, what does that mean to you? That podcasters can use it royalty-free. Well, YouTube all of a sudden has decided that is copyrighted material, and now one show at a time, they're dinging me. So, so for now on, the YouTube shows will no longer have intro and exit music. I doubt. Probably most people will say, "Good." There's 15 seconds of the intro I don't have to watch, because after you watch it once, it kind of gets a little boring to have to watch it every time. So you're welcome.
Now, how about how is that going to go over with Stitcher and stuff like that?
Those guys don't. Those guys.
Places.
Those I've never had anything from any other place. Only YouTube, and they must have some kind of crazy algorithm computer just running through all the videos and finding all this copyrighted material and dinging us. So, so for that, I'm just I have appealed every one that they've done, but it takes at least a month or so for that appeal to go through, and I imagine I'm going to lose. And there's no fighting YouTube, so rather than fight,
Google.
No fighting Google. Rather than fight, I'm just going to punt and say no more music of any kind on YouTube, even though I bought royalty-free music for use in podcasts, which is just crazy. Yeah. So that's one thing. The other thing is we're getting a lot of good comments from our YouTube, from people watching the YouTube show. I had one just last night from a lady named Susan, who is a boudoir photographer herself. She watched the show number 87 with Damien Lovegrove, and she had a comment, and somewhere in there, Damien made a comment, and I don't remember this, but Susan pointed it out. Damien made a comment that boudoir is basically for 18 to 30-year-olds, and I don't remember exactly how he said that. And I will say that, you know, I don't know what, maybe that's what Damon's experience is. I don't know. Maybe he was just saying it in passing. I say lots of things on the show when I listen to it back that I go, holy crap, what was I thinking? That was pretty stupid. And Susan was not being critical. She was just pointing out that there is a lot of people who are over the age of 30 who who get boudoir shots of themselves, and they shouldn't be limited to just a certain age group. So I totally agree with what Susan said, and I invited her to join our Facebook group, or our boudoir Facebook group, which we actually have, is much smaller than a regular group, or our growing G Plus group. Seth is doing a great job of getting that group going. And you know what? Susan joined all three of them. So we welcome Susan to all three groups and look forward to her contribution. I went and looked at her webpage. She is a very talented photographer. So we're very glad to have her in the group. We any of those groups that you want to join, if you're not into Facebook, G Plus is a great place to join. That group is growing. And I was shocked, Seth, when I looked through how many of our former guests are members in the G Plus group. There are more in that group than there are in the Facebook group.
Because the folks that I don't know.
Yeah,
it's the place to be.
Yeah, so there's a lot of good guests over there, and there was some comments on the macro shot. Somebody asked the macro show. Somebody asked some questions about the macro show, and Don, who was the guest on the macro show, came in and started answering those questions and started doing that all in our group. So it's great.
That's cool.
It's great that we have access to those guests even after they've been on the show. So think about joining our Facebook group, which is really easy to find, facebook.com/groups/jpeg2RAW, or our the boudoir one, which just search for jpeg2RAW and it should pull up several of them, because the link there is some crazy numbers, 28284, whatever else, or the G Plus group, which again just search for groups jpeg2RAW and you'll find it, or communities, I think is what it's called on over there.
Yeah.
Our and I'm seeing some comments out in chat from some people, but our Amazon account is doing very good. We're having another good month this month, so we really appreciate that. It helps us do the funding for all the giveaways and the challenges. And this month, the challenge is your best shot of 2013. No topic.
That is rough.
Just your best one. So you have all the way to the end of December to pick out which one is your best. So, you can put one in, decide later that's not it, take it out, do all that kind of stuff. The winner gets $100 Amazon gift card, Amazon.com gift card. They get the SEO cookbook from Zach Perez. And then for the first time, we're giving something to the two runners up. Second place will get $50 Amazon.com gift card. Third place will get a $25 Amazon gift card.com. Oh, however, I just said that. And normally the monthly thing is $25. So this is a big increase. And all that is because of you guys using the Amazon link when you go to buy something from Amazon. Doesn't add anything to your cost, but gives us a little credit. And it's real easy. It's jpeg2raw.com/Amazon. Just use that every time you go there. All right, guys, so let's talk about, we were looking at what were your gift ideas, and we kind of broke it into some groups, like some really cheap items, some like under $50, some under 100, under 500, under 1,000, and over 1,000. And we don't have to go over every single one of them. I know Seth was a little concerned when I made the list for everybody to fill in that there were 3 items in each group, and that would have been 45. That would have been 45 items for everybody, but it was just giving you enough room so you didn't feel limited. But we don't have to, we would be here way too long if we did 45 times 3. So.
Yeah, well, I have 4 in one or two of the lower end groups. So.
See, if I'd have made 4, then you would have got me. So how about, I see that somebody has put some links out there. I put links out there for most of mine. We'll try and have as many links for these things as we can in the show notes, and not all of them from Amazon. So this is not just a big Amazon, affiliate link show. And I'm going to start off with one that's not an Amazon affiliate link thing, and that is my You can see it here. Yeah, you can see it, right?
Knee pad.
My knee
pads.
pad. This I get the real cheap kind. This is definitely under. This is under the $4, I believe. So let's see if I can find it on.
Really? Under $4?
Hold on, I'm gonna try and find it here. It is
If they
from Home
if they took
Depot.
that exact same one, put a Nike swoosh or Under Armour, it'd be about $45.
Really? So I've mentioned this. I've mentioned this a lot of times, and what I keep one of these in my bag. It's really small. It's really easy to. Yeah, it's $3.84. So here I'm gonna pull it up here. It's $3.84. I got it from Home Depot. I keep one in my truck and one in my bag. They fold up really small, and when I'm shooting like swimming or something like that, I put it underneath my blue jeans, and it saves my knee. It is. Believe it or not, it's one of the most important things in my bag. And a lot of times, if I'm taking macro shots and I need to get close to the ground, I go back, I'll get the one out of my truck and I have both of them. And I don't always have to wear it. I could just put it on the ground and sit on it. So that is my first one, and it's only $3.84 from Home Depot.
Well, that's really cheap, and it's valuable. I mean, you said it saves your knee.
Yeah, $3.84, and I've been using this thing for a couple of years, so I've definitely got my use out of that. And it's one of the things that maybe not every photographer thinks about when they're going out there, because a lot of other things people will know about, but that's one that maybe not everybody knows about. So, Seth, what you got?
I don't have one in that lower end category. I don't have one in the small under 50.
All right, so let's go to Tim. Tim, what you got under 50?
All right. This is kind of my first one was kind of a duel. I had first one for $5.79 was the lens pen, but the one that I actually wound up buying for myself was the lens pen kit, and it comes in a nice little case, which has your typical lens pen, which will clean the lenses. You have one also, which I really like. It cleans out because it's got a small little tip here, which cleans out the viewfinder for your camera. So I always carry this in my camera bag. I actually wound up getting the because I'm excessive when I buy something. I bought the lens pen for one camera bag and the lens pen kit for my main camera bag. So I always have one with me. The kit is $15.95, which really isn't that bad when you consider what you're getting for it. And everybody always has something on their lenses, and you always if you don't have the right tool, what do you use? What you have available, and that's not always the right thing to clean your lenses with. So this is something just keep in your camera bag, and you always have it.
Yeah, and I have that was on my list too, and I have that same thing. I don't know how well y'all can see that, but
why didn't I think of that? I have that same thing.
It has one end of it has some little thing that you can clean your lens, where like I blow on it to create humidity, and then blow on it, and the other thing has the other side has the little brush. Yeah.
So
this guy. Also inside the cap is like a little liquid already. So every time you put the cap on, it actually moistens the end of the tip.
I just lost my cap.
I don't have the one with the liquid.
Yeah, don't lose your cap.
I just lost my cap. I heard it. I heard
I don't
it
have
hit
the one with the liquid.
You probably didn't hear it when it hit, but now I don't know where it is. All right. Lost my cap. All right. And Seth, you mentioned just now the rocket blower. That is in that lower group.
Yeah. See, there you go. I'm in there. I think this was somewhere between 5 and 10ish. I don't know. Was it?
Well,
probably
it was definitely less than 30. I know that for sure. So it was definitely less than $30.
I'm going to pull that up here in just a second. A lot of these people have already heard, but I got some stuff that maybe you haven't. Just like the knee pads.
And just real quick, I think one thing that's valuable about this show in particular, although it is a little bit late, a little bit closer to Christmas, is that after the fact, after Christmas is when people kind of buy for themselves.
Absolutely. I buy for myself.
Yeah.
All right. This is very perplexing that I have a very small desk and that little thing is nowhere. Anyway, so I got up. It's called, I'm not even going to try and say it. How do you say that, Tim? GIOTTOS. What? Watatos?
Gitos.
Rocket blower. And I use this, on the camera, on the lens, sometimes to blow stuff off. And I'm going to admit to it, I sometimes will hold my camera upside down and blow into it to try and get some of the dust out too.
Well, that's the right way to do it if you're going to do it. Turn off your camera so that it's not electrically charged, and then hold it. Actually, you should hold your camera that way when you change your lenses as well, so dust doesn't settle in. But so that's kind of the idea. You're blowing it, and anything would just fall down.
And this is only $7.95, and it's one of those things to have in your bag. It's so helpful, and I've used it over and over again.
Yeah. Always good to have. Got to keep your stuff clean, lint free, dust free.
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Oh, yes.
Okay. I have a memory card wallet. Everybody should own one of these. With as small as your cards are becoming, granted I only have one in here. It holds 8, but I have one in here. I didn't have the price on it, but I know I paid under $10. I think I walked in B&H Photo probably about a year ago. And when the cards started getting so small, my father actually had a micro SD card slot, micro SD card the other day. And he's like, oh my God, I dropped it and it took me a half hour to find it.
A micro SD.
Micro SD. I mean, that thing it's like the size of your pinky fingernail. It's the tiniest thing in the world. Yeah, and I was like, what do they need to have those so small?
Right, exactly.
But that's something you should also have in your camera bag, just to protect your card. It's not that the cards get damaged. I think that every study has shown that these cards do not get damaged, but more so you don't lose it.
Right.
Cool.
All right, and you didn't have a link for that, so I don't.
No, I didn't have one because I really wasn't big on which one I picked.
Right. All right, so the next thing I have is, have you guys seen this? It's the super clamp.
Super clamp.
Have you ever used? Sometimes called adjusting clamp.
Oh yeah. I have. I see.
Manfrotto.
Yeah, I've got something kind of similar. It's not Manfrotto.
So I have one here, and what you do is, you've got this thing here. You put this thing; it goes on almost anything. You can clamp it onto almost anything. And I somehow don't have the little metal thing, but you can see in the deal I have pulled up. Hold on, I'll pull it up bigger. There's a little gold piece that goes in here, which allows you to mount a tripod, attach that to a tripod mount, like into the bottom, bottom of your flash, bottom of your camera. I have mounted a camera up somewhere and then fired it remote. I've mounted a flash up on something and did it remote. This thing can just about clamp onto everything, and it's really heavy duty and can hold your camera if you put it on there tight enough. It can definitely hold a flash. So I have a couple of these, and I don't carry it in my bag all the time because they're a little bit heavy, but it's something that I like to have that I can take with me if I need it. If I know I'm going to need it, I'll take it with me. And it's only $30. So I mean, it's very well built. And so it fits in that first category that we have of under 50, because it's only $30, but it's very well built and something to consider if you ever need to attach, a flash or a camera somewhere, and you want it to be there securely. And so you can also do like zip ties to it too if you want to make it a little more secure.
Yeah, useful.
Yep.
I'm a nerd. I just looked at the list and I realized that I actually already I had 4 things in that first category. So can I say 2 of them real quick?
Well, because you thought we were like the $5 or less.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I thought I heard you say something like that. I was like, I don't have any in that range. But I do have one, and it's indirectly photo related, and it's Pandora One subscription. Now this is why I love this. I bought it actually for my mom last Christmas, and she really liked it. But when you're working, like for me, when I'm working, I've got to have music. It's not necessarily I'm not playing iTunes all the time. I like to hear new stuff.
Right.
Well, a Pandora One membership is $36 for a whole year, and it's no ads, and it doesn't time out if you don't mess with it. So that's a really cool thing that I really enjoy. I'm using literally every day.
So before
Pandora One.
Before we started using YouTube as the live stream here, and we were using actually live stream and everything, and that, I would play music, pre-show music. You remember that?
Yeah,
that's a while ago now.
Yeah, I love the.
It was like
music.
80s music. I'm so glad you're not doing that anymore.
All right, very funny. Well, I had bought a Pandora One subscription because I felt if I'm using their music like this, let me go ahead and buy a subscription. And I think you get a little bit better bit rate too. So I don't know if you can notice much of a difference, but it's supposed to be a little bit better bit rate. And you're right, you don't time out. So I also have have bought that and love it, and I play it a lot here. We played it through our either the Xbox or TiVo during Christmas when we had a bunch of people over here for Christmas party that we had. We had that playing in the background, and you just play it, and it'll go on for hours. You don't have that time limit thing. So yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's really great. It's awesome for work. It's awesome for whatever you do, especially if if you're working, it just helps you go along. Can I say another one real quick?
Yeah.
Sure. All right. So
are you going to talk about your $119 item in the under $50 group?
Yes.
Yeah. That's in the wrong spot. I just noticed. So you see, I'll put it kind of close to the lens here. You see the blue part of this lens? This is an old 50-1.8 Canon 50-1.8, okay. And so, but it's an FD mount, and so with it being an FD mount, it doesn't fit directly on the new cameras. However, if you get that blue part is an adapter that'll basically adapt your FD mount lenses to an EOS body. So you can put your old lenses on the new body. So that's really great if you want to save money on some older lenses. I mean, they've got 51.8s. You can get a 51.8 for, first of all, the new ones are really great. They're like $100, but if you want to spend $30 on a 51.8, well, you can get an FD one and then get an adapter. Or if you've grew up in the film days and you're old. Just kidding. Nothing against old people. I love old people.
Wow. I started on film. If you saw my first camera, you'd really start laughing.
What was it?
It was. I remember my aunt gave it to me. I couldn't have been much older than 5. It was in the shape of a big Mickey Mouse head, and his nose was the camera lens.
Oh wow!
It was a little. It was probably like 110 film in it, but I remember that camera specifically. I don't remember ever developing a picture that came out of it, but I remember the camera.
Yeah, I remember a camera from my youth. I had a Ninja Turtle camera. Yeah, I had a Ninja Turtle camera. So that was great. But yeah, you can use those old lenses. You can't use a Mickey Mouse lens, but you can use an old Canon lens on a new Canon body, and then you're good to go. And
that seems to be the big thing nowadays. These manufacturers are making adapters for old lenses because they know that people, the cost is the lens, and anybody that has old lenses is not going to switch. But if you're willing to make a mount that will work with different lenses to your camera body, you may be able to get some people to switch over.
Yeah, I've got a 135, a 135 f2. Lens that I can also throw on that adapter and put it on my 5D or my T3i, and then I'm good to go with that too. So yeah.
Very good.
Let me see. And then I had one more before we move out, but did I hit the cap yet?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So now you said before that you don't really mind talking about other podcasts. They're kind of in a different lane a little bit. So this one is.
I didn't see this list.
Oh no! All right, never mind.
It's not on your. Oh, okay. Go ahead. No, go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, so PhotoBiz Exposed is a podcast that I listen to. Great guy, Andrew Helmich.
He's actually in our G Plus group.
He's in the Google group, and he's commented recently. He's doing some really great stuff, interviewing some people that are making thousands on portrait shoots and tens of thousands on weddings. But I mean, besides that, all the great info that he is gathering, if you get a premium membership to his website, which is like it's like $10 a month, they actually have like additional pro tips that they don't actually say on the podcast. And so I am not part of that yet, but I want to be. Yep. I'm waiting for the release from my financial department. I mean, my wife.
Yes, we understood completely.
The financial department. And so but yeah, it's really great. We always talk about education and moving yourself forward and Creative Live. We were talking about that before. This is kind of similar to that. I mean, he's got a lot of additional content that he makes available for people.
And you know, there's a lot of them out there. You mentioned Creative Live. There's, you know, I don't know if any of us have it in our list here, but one of the greatest things that you can get for a photographer is a workshop in the field that they want. You know, if you're a macro photographer, if you're a wildlife or a landscape or a newborn or a wedding, you know, there's tons of work. You dream up the you know the whatever the subject title, whatever you're wanting to do in photography, and there's probably a workshop out there or many workshops out there related to that, and that is a huge benefit to just about any photographer. So, you know, a website like PhotoBiz with Andrew, or, you know, there's some others out there too, or a workshop, all that, you know, they range in prices from fairly cheap to very expensive. So, you know, you have to gauge that. But that is something that none of us have exactly on our list, but it's something that Just Lost says. It's something to look into. Yeah, you went dark.
Oh, well,
you know, screen share?
I'm black, Mike. I'm black.
Wow.
I didn't say you went black. I didn't say you went black. I said you went dark.
Okay. Oh man, it works sometimes.
So your screen share is not quite
I'm
working.
sorry, I was trying to screen share. It's not working. That's
what we're getting is I'm seeing me back again somehow. Here, I'll just go to PhotoBiz website if that's what you're trying to pull up.
Yeah, it was. So now I'm gonna try to turn off the photo share, and I don't know how. Oh, okay.
No, we can see you.
Okay, I'm back.
All right, hold on.
So yeah, it's just photobizx.com, and it's really good stuff. Mainly wedding and portrait, but he talked recently with a guy that's a creative accountant, and he has a lot of he had a lot of tips about.
Watch out for those creative accountants. Wait.
Yeah,
I didn't know an accountant could be creative.
What is the link?
Photobizx.com.
PhotoBizX. I went to the wrong one. Don't be. You know, this turned out to be an okay site. I don't want to pull up some kind of porn site here and.
No, there's only one X. There's only one X. Just one X.
PhotoBiz.
If you put more than one, then that was your choice. PhotoBiz.
Okay, PhotoBiz, and then what?
X. The letter X.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we go.
Free flowing, you know, we're casual, we're good.
There we go. I got it pulled up now. So I guess should we go over to his premium membership?
Yeah.
You know what? He's actually using the exact same theme that we're using for jpeg2RAW. It's the Avada theme for WordPress.
They don't need to know.
I didn't copy off of him. I'm sure he didn't copy off of me. But yeah, there you go.
Well, great minds. There you go.
$10 a month for the premium membership, and it tells you what you get. And we'll have the link in the show notes. And you know, you were asking, do you mind bringing this up? And you know, like I said many times before, we're not here to make money off the show. The money that we make from our Amazon stuff, I keep track of it because I am an accountant. And I would be careful. That's why I'm saying be careful of those creative accountants because you know, accounting has some rules around it that need to be followed.
I might have messed up the term, but it was pretty much just for getting your financial stuff for your creative business.
Yeah, I know. I'm just joking around. Yeah. But you know, I keep track of that, and you know, I want to leave a little bit in buffer so that if we have a bad month on Amazon, we can still do the giveaways and the challenges. But that money will always go back to the viewers, the people in the Facebook groups, that kind of stuff, through giveaways and through challenges. So it's not something that we're gonna keep. So I don't mind pointing out other people who are making money. That's not our goal. We'd like for you to stay listening to our show, but you know, we understand there's other people out there. So you know, Andrew has a premium thing here you can go check out.
Yeah.
I had one more before we move to the next group, and this is the Honol. Did I say it? Honol Photo straps. Have y'all seen? Let's go back to showing me a little bit. Well, no, I got it pulled up.
I don't know what that is.
If I can find my mouse. Here we go. It's a Honol strap, and what it does, let me show you what it does. It's very nice to have onto your flash. It goes onto any flash. So I have the Nikon SB800 here, and this strap has got a like a sticky type stuff. It's I don't know how to describe it, but it's not tape sticky. It's just like Rubber
Is it
sticky.
like the stuff that they use on a dashboard to hold the phone up there?
Something like that. It's rubber sticky.
It's kind of like a gel.
Yeah, it's like a rubbery gel.
And then it's got Velcro on that. So what you do is you put it on here, you just wrap it around, and now you've got this big, well, if I do it right, you get this big Velcro strap. Dadgummit, I'm doing it wrong. But there was only one way to do this, but apparently there's not.
Good live demonstration.
Yeah, you put it on there, and I put it on there pretty loose. But you put it on there, now you have this thing around your flash. Why would you want to do that? Because maybe you have some kind of diffuser or something like that you want to put on there. And before some gels. Before, what I'd have to do is I'd have to get tape or some kind of gaffer's tape, which was on my list too, and put that on here. And then I have all this tape on my flash, when all I got to do is put this thing on there, and now I have it strapped on there.
Right, and it comes off and it doesn't mar it.
It doesn't mar it at all. It stays if you put it on there tighter. I didn't put it on there very well. It stays on there very well, and it's only $9.95 for one of those. So very, very, and it folds up. Obviously very small, easy to keep in the bag. You can actually put it. It's so small you can even put it in your flash bag if you wanted to. Just leave it in there. So
you didn't add that to your.
It's on my
Your list, is it?
Yeah, it's called Honel strap.
I didn't see it.
HONL is a actually it's officially called Honel, if I'm saying it right, photo speed trap. Don't I have it on my list?
No. What number? It's not on here.
No, it's not there. And you have a lot on your list, but no, that's not one of them.
You got the gaffer's tape, which you just mentioned,
See,
but
you're going all willy-nilly. You're going off the list.
You are correct. I forgot to put it on there. I have it right here in my hand, so that meant I meant to put it on there.
Well, there you go.
So you're right.
So that was the last for the small list?
Well, I had one other thing in that list also, the Lightroom Classroom in a book. I mean, while Lightroom is a very powerful program and it's easy to use, there is a small learning curve at the beginning. And I think sometimes you're better off just using this book to kind of get yourself wet with it. It's what I used when I first went into Lightroom, probably when it was Lightroom 2 or 3 is when I started with it. And the book itself is $40.91, and if you get a Kindle version, it's $27. And I think there are other versions out there that are for like ebooks, so that you can use it on a like a Nexus 7 or an iPad or what have you. So I think it's a very good thing to utilize to get yourself to understand it, to understand the program to get its most use out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was going to put some books on there, and that's I'm glad somebody did, Tim, because books, and I like some of the Scott Kelby books on Photoshop, on Lightroom, and some of the other things.
Yeah, I think I have his Lightroom book
Photoshop
as well.
retouching. I have one. I have that one.
So, books are always a good choice, too.
Education, moving forward. But who reads anymore? You don't have to read. Just tap on it and let Siri read to you.
Siri, who's she? She's not Siri. What's Siri?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You guys use those devices where the touch stops working? Okay, I'm sorry. You guys don't have Siri.
No, I didn't know Siri worked, but that's a whole nother story.
And guys out in chat,
That's rough.
if you have any, as we go through, I think we just ended our under $50 items. We had quite a few there. If you have any,
Yeah, there were a lot.
bring them up in chat, and we'll talk about them here too. So let's go. Now we're in the under $100 list, so a little bit more expensive, And I want to open up with my Black Rapid.
Okay.
And this is not another comment on you, Seth.
Yeah, see, that's there you go. I got nothing.
So the Black Rapid, and there's a bunch of the best place to go is out to their own website and look at. They have demos on how to put them on. All the different ones. There's different ones. I got the Sport. The one I have pulled up right now, I think, is like the regular model. I go back and forth on whether I should have got the Sport or should have got this one. The main difference is if you look at mine, and let me go back to where people can see us a little bit bigger. And if you're watching this on the page that has chat to the right, that works out well for me because of the screen I'm using. But there's another screen. If you go under the live link, there's a link underneath that says alternative. If you want a bigger screen with the chat below it, that is another place you can go. It's the same feed, same chat. It's just a bigger player. But in this one, it has this goes over your shoulder, this part here, and this goes under your arm. And what that does for you is it stops the shoulder strap from moving too much on you. Then I'm going to show you here real quick. Then you have this little, can y'all see that? That little thing right there?
Mm-hmm.
That little hook?
Yeah.
That little hook, I left it on there. You don't have to leave it on there. That little hook, you then take this, clamp it onto there, and now your camera just kind of slides, goes to the side of you. Almost like if you're like working for the Secret Service and you got your gun hanging on the side of you like that. You kind of feel that way too. Like you got especially when you have a 70 to 200 hanging there too. You feel like you just whip that thing up. And when you first do it, and I make sure mine's tight, you feel a little uncomfortable. You always walk around with your hand on the camera because you know it's going to fall.
It's new.
It's going to fall in a second.
It's going to go.
Yeah, but all right, what the hell? The cap is back on this thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's the mouse.
It's the mouse.
That's a good point. Last week, there was something up there, and I told you only one of us was making it out of this room alive, right?
Yeah, it's still in there.
I'm back. If that tells you anything. But no, so you do that, you hang it on your side, and then when you want to go and shoot, you just kind of slide it back up, and it just goes back and down, because this thing, and I'm not going to be able to demo it very well, but this thing slides up and down. That's where your camera's on, so it's real easy to move your camera up and down your body. I use it when I'm shooting just about any kind of sport. I just will have the 70-200 hanging on my side, flip it back up like that. There's also, I've seen some wedding photographers, there's the dual one, and talk about really feeling like you got some guns hanging underneath you.
Yeah.
You can have a camera on either side of you, and with different lenses probably, and you just lift one up and lift the other one up. It's very, very handy. That's all I want to use is my Black Rapid. I love that thing.
Well, Mike, I have to agree with you. I had prior to this I think it was called a spider holster, where it was a belt that attached to the side of you, and it had a clip on there. And I liked it, but it was a pain in the neck to always reach across the front to unclip it. And I wound up getting the Black Rapid, and absolutely the best thing to have, especially like when you got that 7200 on there. I mean, I feel perfectly secure with it. Walking around, it doesn't bounce too much. Now I got the model without the extra strap underneath. I'm not as active as you, I guess, so not as athletic.
And I would say that you can remove the added strap. You can take that off if you wanted to. And out in chat, they said that they use that for weddings in combination with a hand strap. So you remove the strap that came with your camera, you put a hand strap, hand wrist strap, those things on there, and then you put the Black Rapid on there, so you can have both. And you can, because this little thing has a slide on it, you screw it up, and now it's locked into place. It won't come undone. You just unscrew it, and then you can do that to it. If you can. I don't know if y'all can see that.
Right, it's not going to bounce back off.
Yeah, it's not going to bounce back off. It secures it on there. So I can't recommend it enough.
Those are really cool. And the funny thing is, my mom asked for, who's also in the group, by the way.
Yeah, that's right.
She asked me for my Amazon wish list, which was cool. And that was actually something similar was actually on it. The dual one is on my. I have a studio wish list, and I have one of those on there. So.
I thought you were wearing one right now. Isn't that the big Black Rapid you're wearing right there?
No, that's my shoulder brace. keep my shoulder from popping out.
Looks better than last week already.
Yeah. At least at least I can get both hands up, so that's pretty cool. At least shoulder length, so that's good. Hey, and there's an alternative to this that it's in the smaller group though. I can't talk about it.
Well, no, if you got an alternative, that's fine. But
okay, well, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying I can't recommend that enough. It's just awesome. So, what's your alternative?
Yeah. My alternative was I don't know where it is, but anyway, it's a little belt strap, and you can slide it on your belt, and that's the holster portion. Now on the bottom of your camera, in the little tripod, the tripod ring, you can actually twist a base. So what the base does is it has a part that connects specifically to that holster. you have to kind of, and it holds on pretty tight too. At first, I wasn't so sure, but I've used on a few shoots, and I feel really comfortable with it. Especially since it was hard for me to get out on purpose, so I was like, I doubt it's gonna get out on accident. But once you get the little motion, you can pull it out pretty easily, and it just kind of hangs on your hip. So that's pretty nice too. I think that was around $15. So.
Yeah, and the Black Rapids, they vary in price. I think the one I was showing was about $62. I think this one, the sport one that I have, was a little bit more. They have some that have some slots in them where you can put memory cards and that kind of stuff in it too. I didn't want one that involved. But, I would say go to their website, look at some of the videos. It shows you how to wear them. It shows you how to put them on, and you get a better feel of which one you think you might like. They're not crazy expensive, so if you get the wrong one, you can maybe go buy another one.
You're hardcore if you've got memory slots on your shoulder like shotgun shells.
There you
you're
go.
like talking super pro here.
And they're putting some way less hand fatigue. They're putting some great chat links out there.
Links.
Yeah. So does somebody want to go next? Or you want me to go with another one?
Well, I can go over mine.
I have one. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go, Seth. I've gone a couple of times.
Okay, because my meat is in this under 500 section, and then I'm done. I got like 5 things there, and I got nothing anywhere else.
We're in the other. We're on the 100 still.
We're in the under 100.
I thought you were saying going on to the next one. Okay, no,
I got a few more here. So,
all right, well then I'll go. All right, I got myself for my AA batteries, which everybody uses in your flashes, or at least I assume everybody's using it. I got a Lacrosse Technologies battery charger. It tells you how long it takes to charge it, and it charges up my batteries, because you go through a lot of batteries out there when you're using a flash. So it's one of the things that I got myself a long time ago. It goes right along with the rechargeable batteries I use, because I used to buy a lot of Duracells or Energizers, and now I use what are they called? Enelope. It's a good brand that I found a long time ago, and a really good AA battery. It recycles really quickly.
What's the name of that brand again?
Enelope. Eneloop.
Okay.
Let's see if I can get it out. I can't even get it out of the darn case. I think the batteries are actually on there as well. So this is the name brand of the battery.
Okay. Hold on.
And then what I bought from Amazon as well, these little cases that support all my AA batteries, and I put on there full. On one side I wrote on full, and on the bottom side empty. And the way the battery's in there, I know whether or not it needs to be charged. So I'll flip it to one side after it's been used. So definitely something that I use a lot, because I take a lot of indoor pictures and a lot of flash, and it recycles really quick.
Cool. That's a good one to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Got the Amazon link pulled up. Okay.
All right.
I found one. I did have one in that section.
Okay.
Just one.
Go ahead.
Gunner glasses. You've heard me talk about my gunners before, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but now I have another one that it's a newer version of it. They have the clear lenses. They had a few models. If you go to gunners.com, Gunners.
Gunner.
S.com.
And I put it in chat, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, so they have some that are so basically initially they were gamer glasses. It's supposed to cut down on fatigue and wear and tear on your eyes. Well, people that just frequently use computers that are just on a lot use them too, just to save on eye fatigue and keep you from being sore, tired, and all that good stuff. Well, I want personally, anyone that's out there, I want the clear lens ones, because the yellow ones obviously has that yellow tint. It's not good for editing, and so I pretty much just wear them when I'm doing my admin.
That's what's wrong with all the photos I've seen from you.
You know what? Thanks. I appreciate that.
I was wondering what was going on there.
Yeah. I'm not submitting anything else to the contest. Nothing again. No, I'm just kidding.
Seth will be talking about it. Look at the great colorness, and hey, dude, it's black and white.
It's black and white.
Those glasses you're wearing.
It's those glasses. I thought I had a yellow tint. No, yeah, but I they start at like $80, and they have prescription versions too. That's one thing that makes it really cool.
Wow. Okay.
So
Gunner.
it's take care of your face, your eyes.
Take care of your face.
And that's the only one that I have in that section.
Okay.
So it's Tim's turn
Very
now.
good.
I actually like that. That's
That's good.
That's a good idea.
All right.
You actually like, you're saying that there's something that I said that you liked. I'm on.
Yes.
Of course.
I'm just kidding.
Well, another one that I use, and Tim, I'll come back to you in just a second. Another one I use all the time is the Expo disc. I have one of the Expo discs. I bought the biggest one.
Well, you know who got you on that?
Who's you?
Kathleen.
Okay. Was it?
No, I thought it was the other way around.
Wasn't that her big thing? Was the Expo disc, and then you got it?
Or it might have been the other way around. I don't remember. We'll give it to Kathleen.
Shout out to Kathleen Bowie.
I bought the biggest one. I got pulled right here, the 62 millimeter. Really, you should buy the biggest one, the 82. I think this is 82 millimeter, because you're not screwing it onto your lens.
Right. Whatever your biggest lens is, you should get that one.
Well, an 82 is as big as it goes, because I have a 105 millimeter front end lens on one of my lenses, and they don't make one that big. So you just stick it on the front of your lens with the white side pointed to your camera, to your lens, and then point it toward the light source. And set your white balance off of that. It does a really good job of setting white balance, especially like indoors when you're having some trouble with white balance indoors. And it's you can see it's really small. I just keep it in my bag all the time. I think it's the one I'm looking at here, the 62 millimeter one, is $42. I wish I could find the bigger one.
So do you use that at your swim meets?
I do, because the lighting in there is just god awful and
wacky.
You watch,
right? Was it those sodium lights or something in there?
Yeah, and you watch. Here I talk to the other photographers. One of the things I love about shooting at is there's always either somebody on my team or one of the other teams who's a photographer also, or maybe somebody coming around shooting photos for the yearbook, the kids' yearbook, and I get to talk to them for a while. And almost every one of them, at some point, they'll come around with, my images are all coming out yellow or green. There's one gem that for whatever reason your images come out green. And if you don't know how to set your white balance, that's a problem. Or they come out too red or something like that. And for those guys,
Magenta.
Yeah, I got to be careful, because one of the things I don't like to do is tell the person, do all this stuff, and then
they do it, and they're spending money, and they don't do it right.
No. I'm just if I change the settings in their camera and change their white balance and do all this kind of stuff, if I'm taking them off of auto, I'm not going to see them again when we're done shooting that night. We're going our separate ways, and I don't want to mess up every photo they take from then on, because if they don't know how to set the white balance, they may not know how to undo what I do for them. But for somebody who does know a little bit more, what I'll tell them is, hey, you might want to look into get one of these Expo discs, or in a lot of cases, the pool deck is concrete or something. You can get really close with just setting your white balance off the pool deck. Just because it's a gray pool deck, you just set it off there, and I can get within 200 Kelvin of the right white balance, or even less, by doing it, setting it off of that.
And is that regardless of where you go, or is that you guys specific?
No, there's a couple of pools where that'll work. Some of the other ones, they might have a different tint to the pool deck and it won't work. But for the main pool I'll go to, I can get pretty close. But I always start off with. I don't generally have to do that because I'm shooting with the Expo disc.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was just looking for a link. I think the last thing I had in my under 100 was a monopod, and it's something I use a lot, especially when you're using a longer lens in a soccer meet or something. It just helps a little bit, especially when I was using my 100, 400 millimeter lens. You couldn't get long shots without shaking. The lens is heavy. A 7200 is heavy. You take the monopod, attach it directly to the lens, and it really stabilizes, as well as the weight, just holding it, waiting for your next shot. So that's something that I think was very important for me to get.
Less setup time than a tripod too. Monopods are important.
And much easier to move around.
Tim, can you put up the link to the Expo disc in chat? And
what size did you? I was just going to ask. What size?
They're wanting that size. So that's the one I had up is the, I guess it's the 62 millimeter. 62? Yeah.
All right. That's what I was actually looking for. But monopod to me was was a great thing to have.
You're absolutely right. I think most people think my choices are either, handheld or tripod. And
lockdown.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't. I've even seen this question before. Why on earth would I want a monopod? If I'm going to go with a pod, I want something that's going to give me stability, like a tripod. But there's a lot of cases where the monopod gives you that stability and also freedom, freedom to move around. Just like you, Tim, when I was shooting soccer, I was shooting with a 120 to 300 2.8 lens. That there is no way I could handhold that thing all day.
Right.
Heck, unless I had a really fast shutter speed, I couldn't handhold that thing for more than 2 or 3 shots because it was so heavy. You put it on a monopod, and man, you all the weight is gone. You just carry that thing around. If you put it on secure enough, you can walk around with that thing hanging over your shoulder when you go to the next
Absolutely.
field. So a monopod like that is just fantastic. It's fairly lightweight. It folds up pretty small. I have one, right behind me, and they're not that expensive.
They make carbon fiber ones. They make aluminum ones. They make.
I have an aluminum one. Like I think the one Tim has here is aluminum, and it's
what I use.
$67. It's super cheap, and a lot of times you don't even put a ball head on it. And I have later. We'll talk about some ball heads. When you're buying a good tripod, you're going to spend $400 to $800 or more on a good tripod. And that doesn't even include the ball head.
Right. Then you find out, wait a second, there's no head on here?
There's no head on here. So a lot of times you get a monopod.
On monopod, you don't need it because I think it would almost be kind of redundant because it kind of takes away from it.
Yeah, if you do get a head on it, it's sometimes you just want the swivel head. You don't want the full ball head. You just want that swivel head. And that way it gives you a little bit of freedom to move up and down. But the sideways, you don't care. You just turn it. It's a monopod.
And the main reason that I have a ball head on my monopod, right now it's on my video slider, but I have a ball head on there because it has a quick release plate and you can take it off quickly instead of unscrewing the whole thing.
Right.
That's true.
So it's faster.
Yeah.
But I mean, another great thing about a monopod is that some places you actually can't use. They won't let you use a tripod because of safety. They don't want the legs out, like a museum.
That's a good point.
Like
yes.
Well, when I shot soccer, they wouldn't allow tripods on the sidelines because of
See, there you go. Yeah.
If a kid comes running over, you don't want. If you have a tripod there, you're much more likely to trip somebody.
Yeah.
Well, I might have to buy another one because my daughter ran off with mine like 3 weeks ago, and I haven't seen it since. I have no idea where it is. No idea.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're in, I guess, Sessa's group, the under $500 group that he was so eager to move into. So
okay, I love. Dang it! I should have got that out. Okay, well I'll start with something else. The Nik collection, which used to be sold independently, all the Nik software, the Nik Silver Effects Pro, Vivisa, Analog Effects is a cool one. So Nik Software, who was acquired by Google, so now it's just the Nik collection. They sell them all instead of individually for $100 or more. They sell the whole package of about 5 or 6 applications, which plug in straight to Lightroom and Photoshop. They sell the whole package for $150. Well worth it. It's so cool. This stuff is really great. Especially, I'm a big fan of Silver Effects, and I wish I could pull up a picture, but I can't really right now. But you have the link there.
So I guess I go a little overboard with some of my software buying. I have Nik software. I love it. It's great. I've used the Silver Effects. I've used the the Vivisa. Those are my two.
And color effects too. I really like the color effects. It has a lot of extra stuff in there.
Yeah, and I have the.
I did not know that Google bought them. How did I not know that?
I wasn't overly happy about that, but it turned out to be okay, I guess. I have it as a Lightroom plugin is what I have it for. And really, for me, I've tried the HDR effects. I like Photomatrix better. So I stick
Photomatics?
Photomatrix.
Photomatrix. Okay. Cool.
Isn't that what it is? Photomatic?
I got to look at my...
All right, I'm going to have to look it up.
I could suck it up. I might be wrong.
Photomatics. Photomatics Pro.
One for the bald guy.
Photomatics. Yeah.
Yes.
What did I say?
We said Photomatrix.
Yeah. Okay. Photomatics. Yeah. So I like this one. This one is about $100 and something also, or is it $99?
What, Photomatics?
Yeah.
You just got to look because I remember when I bought it, I got the student discount. But there was a student discount. I think I paid $30 for it.
Yeah. So I like this
Cool.
one. I like this
Wow.
one better, but the Nick collection, for me, I like the Vivisa and the Silver FX Pro, which Silver FX Pro is their black and white software. And where I was saying I kind of buy too much,
Yeah,
I
Silverback.
also have the Topaz Labs collection too.
Topaz. Yeah, you're over processing there. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
no, I run
No, I'm just
I
kidding.
run every photo through everything. So it goes through Define, Sharpener Pro, HDFX, Vivisa, SilverFX, and then it goes through Topaz Labs.
You like to play. There's nothing wrong with that. There's
Nah,
nothing wrong with that. You
I'm
like
kidding.
to play. It's cool.
I'm kidding. A lot of these will let you try them out before you have to buy it.
Yeah.
So it's you try it out, find out if you like it or not, and then you
Try before you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good pick there, Seth.
So,
What else?
Cool. And so yeah, the whole package for 150. Let me see. I'll do another thing before I let one of you guys talk, I guess. So you guys, I've always talked about the YN 560. Well, those don't have TTL. And then I broke my main flash, which does have TTL. So I'm like, this sucks. I gotta figure out something really quick. Well, they have it's Yongnuo. They have this 568EX2, which does have TTL, and it has it has pretty much every function, including second curtain sync and high speed sync that your 580 would for Canon users. This is not specifically Canon, but for Canon users, because I've played with the 580. That's what my church uses. My church is photographer as well. It's like the same dang thing. It's $180.
I need
Wow, that's not bad.
No, I need to buy a couple of these too because I have the one. What is it? I just said it. 800 SB 800 Nikon SB 800. I had another one, and to this day, it's still a debate between me and my wife. Not so much between her.
If it was worth it.
No, not what I'm about to tell you. It's not really a debate with her. She feels that there's no debate here. She was right. I was taking some photos, and I had the flashes set up remotely, and I had one of them on the stand that comes with the flash, one of my SB 800s, on top of the refrigerator. Apparently, I had part of the legs. Had part of the legs on the door part of the refrigerator, and my wife went to open it, and splat! It hit the kitchen floor, and has never worked since. And I just have not sent it off. But this is I've heard you post about this. I saw you post about this on Facebook, Seth.
Oh yeah.
That these
Happy when I got it.
for under $200 you're getting a really good flash, so much cheaper than what this SB 800 would be, and what the whatever they are now, SB 910s or something like that are going to cost you $500, $600, $700.
Yeah. And something else that needs to be said kind of about flashes. Sometimes people are like, well, why do flashes cost too much? There's this price jump. I have this other flash which is pretty close, and it's the same company. It's the 560. It's the YN 560, not the 568. The second version. They have a third version out now. But anyways, that was like $60. That was like $60, and this other one was $180. What's the difference? Well, this one has high speed sync. Second. Oh boy, my brain's melting right now. But
Shutter curtain.
Second curtain sync, rear curtain, and it's got what else? It's got TTL. Anytime you get a flash that has TTL, you're gonna pay some money. Like you're gonna pay more than at least 120.
Right, because it's got a lot of electronics in there to work directly with the camera.
It takes a lot of coordination, and that
Right.
stuff doesn't come super cheap. I mean, compared to the name brand, the Canon, that is super cheap. So, suck it up, Buttercup. That's what it is,
Yep.
So yeah. So there you go. I'm gonna reach for one of these lenses that I'm talking about here, and then I'll be right back. You guys can. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Tim.
All right, going along with the software, like Seth mentioned, I picked Topaz Labs, a complete collection. We had talked about it. We went over a lot of the software, and I've used their software since I purchased it quite a bit, and it goes along with one of my other selections in this area, the green screen kit, where I my daughter's birthday last year, I actually set up my own green screen. And then I pulled everybody out of the picture using Topaz Labs remask. And I tell you, the software worked fabulous to pull every person out of there, made it real quick, and then I changed the background for the picture. We had done a Disney-themed birthday party, and I made it look like everybody was in Disney for a picture that I handed out to them after the party was over. So those were two of the things I had in there. And Topaz Labs, I know everyone. I think we still have the discount on that, Mike?
I don't know if there's a no, I think the discount was November, wasn't it?
It might have been, but I'm sure you could look out there, maybe find a discount code for it.
But we do have an affiliate link. If you're going to use it, go to jpeg2RAW.com/Topaz Labs.
Okay, maybe that's what I meant. Yeah. There's an affiliate link there for that.
And which product were you using?
I used the complete collection. I think there was it Remask?
Yeah, Remask. Yep.
And that's when he went over where he showed how he pulled a dog out of a background. And I'll tell you, you know what? Once you understand how to use the software, and it took a while. I actually wound up going to YouTube to follow somebody doing it to actually learn how to use the software. It made it real easy. And I was like, wow, this is powerful. Much easier than using my Wacom tablet to pull out the people.
Yeah, so you mentioned when we had the guy on the show from Topaz Labs who did the demo, and it just was amazing what he was able to do. And he was able to pull out, even around hair, it worked really well. I own the complete collection too, Tim, and I played with some. I'm not nearly as good as he was at it, but
I mean, he really was. He was fast with it.
It's pretty good.
I'm sure it takes practice too. Yeah.
And I'm sure he picked the right photos to use in the demo, but he was really good at it, and he convinced me. I bought it at full price. We did have a discount code where you can get it at half price, but I bought it at full price because I thought it was worth it, and I still do use some of the packages there too. I just haven't had time to make it through all of them because you get quite a bit with the full package.
Well, you get quite a bit, but the thing is, getting the complete collection is like almost if you bought 3 or 4 pieces of the product. So it was almost worth it to buy the entire product, even knowing that I may not use some of them right away, because I think individually it's probably over $600-700.
Yeah, the whole package, if you buy the whole thing, is $379.99. I didn't pay that. We must have got some kind of discount.
We must have gotten a discount because I wouldn't have bought it for that price.
I wouldn't have either. So you may wait for it, or if you want to give us the we do get the affiliate money. If you want to buy it at $379, buy 4 or 5 of them. But or wait for them to have some kind of sale. I imagine they're going to. I would think they would have some kind of year-end sale, but maybe not. I don't know. Jim.
Cool.
Oh, is Jim leaving? Somebody says night, Jim.
I paid $179 for.
Here we go.
Oh.
We paid for it back then. I paid $179. I just looked it up. In my orders, so that wasn't too bad at the time.
Okay. Yeah, and that must have been what I paid for it too. So you want to go next, Seth?
Sure. I have this one little thing, and this is cross-brand too, not just Canon. So this is the Rockinon 85-1.4. Love this lens.
Hold on.
Absolutely.
I don't shoot kids with it just because they move around fast, and this is full manual.
Spell that out for me.
ROKI. Actually, you can copy and paste from the page if you have it up.
Wait, I have
ROKINON.
It's number 1 in the 500 group.
All right, hold on. It's number 1.
I'll probably find it before you anyway.
Oh, but he doesn't have a link for me. He just has the thing.
Well, I just said you can. Okay. I'm sorry.
All right, links in chat, Mike.
Didn't make it as easy.
Yeah, it's not quite that easy, Tim. Okay, so which one are you using? Rockinon, which one?
I have the Rockinon 85.
85 millimeter.
85 millimeter 1.4.
Really? So how much was that?
$279.
I was gonna say it was around 300ish.
Yeah, $279 at B&H right now.
It is lovely.
I have never heard.
This thing is beautiful.
I have never heard of them.
Yeah, either have I.
Yeah, Samyang is actually the same company too. They're not terribly new. They've actually been around for a little while. They've just kind of been under the radar, but they don't market really at all.
So I would love to have an 85-1.4. Any idea how it compares to the name brand, like the Canon for you or the Nikon for me?
For the now I've seen some comparisons, and they were saying that for for the money it's really on par. I don't know how far that for the money goes. I mean, to me, it's completely beautiful. It doesn't have autofocus, but I don't really have anything else I could ask
okay.
for.
So that's a
It's
big
very
deal.
sharp. Yeah.
No
Well,
autofocus.
and there's a Canon that doesn't have autofocus too, but
Okay.
I
All right.
mean
Well,
it's
that's good to know, though. So I know that Ryan was it Ryan Brenizer that we had on that did a article on the Sigma
manual
80
focus. Or?
No, he did an article on the Sigma 8514, and so
Mm.
I think that you're usually safe buying a name brand, the Nikon or the Canon or same if you're with Sony. Buying a name brand, it's the off brands that you got to do a little research on. And
Yeah.
because Sigma makes some great lenses, they make some junk, and so with Tokina,
It's a mixed bag.
so with Tokina, and what's the other one? I can't remember.
Tamron.
Tamron, and so does Tamron. They make
I'm a Tamron fan.
they make some good stuff and they make some junk. And I imagine the same thing as with this Rokinon is that it's good to know somebody who's used one that can recommend it and say this is a good one, because even though it's under $300 for that lens, I'd want to know it's not manual, it's not autofocus before I go buy it.
And I would say if you're looking for an 85, if you're looking for a good 1.4, and you're proficient with your own focus, or you just don't mind that it's manual, then this is the one to get. I mean, I don't really have any drawbacks. I mean, it's just that it's full manual. You just have to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Yep, that's a good point. All right.
So yeah, Tim have one?
I have one.
Okay.
Maybe while Tim's getting ready. And that is the Really Right Stuff. Have you ever bought anything from Really Right Stuff?
No, I haven't.
No,
but
I have heard
was
about
hear
it
about
enough
from
that
Rick
I
Salmon.
feel like I did.
Rick Salmon loves Really Right Stuff.
I love Really Right Stuff. That's where I bought my ball head. That's where I bought my tripod, the big one. I have 2 tripods. My tripod, and for every camera I get, I buy their L plate. So I bought it with my original Nikon D100. I bought it with both D2Hs. I bought it with my D2X, and now I got it with my D700. And what it is, and forget this little thing on the bottom, that's the Black Rapid. But it is, you see it there. It's an L plate that goes around your camera, and you get it for the 700 where you have a battery grip on the bottom or not. You would need to get one that is for the battery grip and one that is without it. So you'd have to buy 2. I only wanted
Different
with the
sizes.
I always had the battery grip on it, so I just bought the one. What does that do? It means I can stick it on a tripod this way, or I can stick it on a tripod this way. And it's got the little dove tail thing there that slides right onto my ball head on either one of them. It allows you to put it either way. It actually gives it some protection too around it.
Okay.
So the one I got was about $180, I believe, for this camera, and I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't have it without it. I love it. If you're doing a lot of landscape photography or macro photography, we're putting your camera on a tripod quite often. It's just really nice to have that be able to slide on so easily.
How do you feel about the weight? What kind of weight? What kind of bulk does that?
It does add a little
what's your
bit.
Experience.
I've never been that concerned about the weight. I was shooting with 70 to 200 or bigger lenses, so I've not been that concerned with the weight on it. It does add some weight, and I'm trying to look here to see if I can see what kind of weight it. It says 6 ounces, which doesn't sound like that much.
6 ounces is less than half a pound.
Yeah, but it does add some weight to it.
Cool.
And the one I have pulled up here is for the one with the D700 without the battery grip. The one with the battery grip is a little bit bigger than that. So that's mine.
All right.
All right, I got one on here that I've been looking for a long time, and I have an old one, and I really need to replace. I was looking for a digital frame with Wi-Fi, and that's really what I found here. It's a 10.4-inch digital frame with Wi-Fi. So now, as opposed to the frame I have upstairs in my living room right now that has pictures on there that are probably 4 years old now, the Wi-Fi, as I put pictures from my Lightroom into a catalog, it would automatically sync it with the frame. So this is something I liked. This may not be the exact one I want. I'm still looking around. They had a couple out there, but this is the only one that I saw right now that had a Wi-Fi to it. So we take a lot of pictures, probably none of us really print a lot of pictures.
Right.
So this is a way of getting to display the pictures you do take.
Cool.
I wish we'd have done this earlier. Like y'all said, we should have done this, earlier in the month.
Yeah.
But because I already bought my wife one, and it was for a birthday in November, so we had done this a lot earlier. And I bought the 15-inch, and that was just too big.
Oh, it was? Okay. That was because I was actually looking at one that was 15 inches, and I think it's too big.
It depends on where you're going to put it. So in the place she was going to put it, the 15-inch was too big. If you're going to put it like on your desk at work, probably the 15-inch is too big. So the one you have here would have been a better choice to do that. I like the Wi-Fi, especially if you're going to be in like at home, having Wi-Fi is good. Good pick there, Tim.
That's a good pick.
Thank you.
Very cool.
And
okay, so I have one more. Oh, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
That doesn't have to necessarily be for the photographer. You can get that for the grandma.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, they have to have Wi-Fi in the house.
Yeah.
After you set up Wi-Fi in their house.
No, my mom would love that. So this is my absolute favorite tripod. It's the let me see which link is the right one. So it's Manfrotto. It's MK394. And the cool thing about this, besides that it has the base part that can go vertical and give you that.
Let me find that.
You can have your camera flip. But
Mike,
the cool thing about
chat, Mike.
Okay.
Huh?
I already put the link in chat.
That's because Tim is quick. He's been doing this for a long time. This is episode 101, people. He's on his game.
Which one are we talking about? Because you have two of them in here.
It's the
MK394.
Okay.
Yeah, 394 tripod. And the cool thing about this is that there's a little switch that I don't know if you can. Okay, yeah. Well, there's a little switch at the very top of the legs that if you turn it, it'll allow you to pull the leg. It'll pull the leg farther than if you just had it. If you just had it right here.
Right, so you can get really low.
You can get a really low angle, which is really awesome. That's my favorite thing about this tripod, is that it's very versatile and it's durable. It's lasted me a while across some states. So I think I bought it in Maryland, and
I think a little tip to go along with that though is get the knee pads that Mike mentioned earlier. Then if you're going to go really low,
that's true. Yeah, get the knee pads. I had
full circle.
I had a tripod there also on my list. Also, I forgot it in my truck. I leave it in my truck. It's an Enduro tripod that Ali, back when Ali was on, recommended that when I bought it. I bought the Enduro tripod and the ball head, Enduro ball head, and that was a very good pick. I'll have them in the show notes, but we don't have to talk about them here. Yeah, good. For me, I wanted a lightweight tripod that was going to be my 90% of the time tripod. And one I can travel with a lot, and then I have my heavy duty tripod, which is in the over 1,000 list.
Wow! Oh, wow! Really? For a tripod? Well, you know what? I'll say
tripod
this.
ball head combo.
Any tripod that's not from Walmart, that doesn't have that little crank on it. I hate the little crank. Everybody's got it though. Everybody at one point had that little crank tripod. Oh my goodness!
Anybody who has who's wanted a good tripod or wanted a tripod, they generally start off like this. They go with the Walmart one or something like that. Yeah. The $100 tripod.
Tired of it.
The $100 tripod, including the ball head or less, whatever it is. And then they come home and they figure out that's not quite what I wanted, and they live with it for a while. Then they go out and buy the little bit more expensive one. Do some research and spend a little bit of money to get the right one. The one Seth's pointed out here. Does that come with that's not with a ball head though, right?
That is it doesn't have a ball head. It does have a head on it. And this is $119. So the Walmart ones are like $20, $15.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
This is $119. And it does have the plate is gone right now. It's on the bottom of one of my cameras back there. Okay. But yeah, this one does have a head on it. And it was kind of the debate between this one and another one that had an interchangeable head, but the price gap was so big.
You actually have one also they also sell one with a ball head. So the same one, but it looks like they sell it with different heads on it.
Yeah. So that a good lightweight one like that is good for some of your, especially if you're doing landscape where you got a wide angle lens on it or something like that, where you're not really putting that much weight on the tripod. Some of them, like, I don't know if this one does, but some of them have a hook at the bottom of the center column.
Right, to hang your bag to pull it down so it doesn't move.
Yeah, to add even more a weight to the thing, more stability to the tripod. You can do that. You can put your camera bag and hang it underneath it to give it some stability. I don't know if this one does or not, but a lot of them with a center column do. My expensive tripod doesn't even have a center column because the center column does add some
shake
to it. So if you want the maximum stability, you don't want a center column. But my tripod,
or if it does have a center column, keep the center column low. Don't raise it.
My main tripod that I use all the time has a center column because that just makes it so convenient to have one.
Well, I'll tell you, Mike, I went the opposite. My first tripod was a pretty big one. And it was substantial weight to it. And then I was going to it was probably Disney, going on vacation. I was like, there ain't no way in the world I'm packing this thing with me.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized I had to get myself another tripod. And I probably own as many tripod and monopods as I own camera bags. My wife always makes fun of me on it. It's like, you got more camera bags than I got pocketbooks.
I would,
like, yeah, no, don't go there.
I would get up and get my tripod that's right behind me, but you would see what I'm wearing. I'm wearing something that doesn't match very well.
You just have a shirt on. You told us way back in the day, all you wear is a shirt.
I have sweats on.
You got sweats on?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with wearing sweats during a podcast.
So I have sweats on. But yeah, so I did the same thing, Tim. My first one was the big heavy duty one. All right, so we're going real late here. Thank you guys for holding out with us, but we got some more stuff on the list. Okay.
The one more thing that I have is the same as both of you guys have, and it's not in the next section. It's in the over 1,000
Yeah,
section.
I mean, I could skip my under 1,000. That really,
I have no under
just
1,000.
to get something in there.
I want to go with one more in the under $500 one, and that is the Adobe Photoshop photographer. What is it called? Adobe.
The photo bundle.
Yeah.
The Lightroom and Photoshop
and Lightroom.
CC Creative Cloud.
No, not the Creative Cloud one. It's the for photographers. It's the one that's $9.99 a month.
It is.
But it's still CC though.
Yeah, it's still
isn't it?
Creative Cloud. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just that specific bundle, right?
Yeah. Why can't I find it? Come on. It is. Yeah. You're right, Seth.
Okay.
Photoshop photography program, $9.99 a month.
And that was going to be temporary, but they extended it.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find it to put.
Well, I think it's you still got to join by the end of the year.
Oh dang! Really?
Well, I don't know because they got a different page now. I'm pulling it up now, and the page is totally different.
Okay.
It says hurry, limited time offer. So let's click on that. So let me talk what this is. If you're a photographer and you don't already own this stuff, this actually is a pretty good deal. $9.99 a month. Let's just go ahead and round it $10. $120 a year. Photoshop and Lightroom. You do have to pay for that from now on, though. Once you stop paying for
it's a subscription. Yeah.
Once you stop paying for it, you don't have it anymore. So there is that. But, there's no other way to get Photoshop. And if you don't own Photoshop and we're looking to buy it, you can't buy it anymore. But if you were going to buy it, I mean, that's like a $600 or $700 program. So this is not a bad deal. But like Tim said, it was up until December 31st was the deadline. I don't know if they extended it because they're still saying hurry. And it says you still need to join by December 31st.
Yeah, it says December 31st on this, so.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that.
And supposedly that's going to be a price that'll stick. It's if you've got in on the $9.99, they're not going to increase it in the future, which was a question people had.
Yeah,
Well, they say that they reserve the right to, but they don't have plans on doing it right now.
Yeah, okay.
Although that sounds confusing, but I mean, they'd kind of be crazy not to at least kind of cover their butt that way, right?
Sure.
Absolutely, gotta.
The thing that it's by December 31st, you gotta wonder if come January 1st, if maybe they extend it or they come out with a little bit more expensive, a $10.99 or $12.99.
Right, with
like that.
30 gigs
around
of
15.
cloud storage.
We can place bets.
Yeah,
that's how they're gonna change the price by changing the size of the cloud storage.
Yeah, so I had this on my under $500 list because it is $120 a year, and I think this is if you don't already own this stuff, this is something that every photographer should have. Photoshop, Lightroom, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Lightroom is so fantastic. Anyone that's on the fence, just get both.
All right, so I don't really have a good under 1,000 list. Does anybody have a good one under 1,000?
Yeah, I mean, I
No.
added Lens Baby, but I don't own it, so I can't really.
All
I
right, so
can't
let's
talk
just go
about it.
to the, because we're running so late. Let's go to the last thing, the over 1,000 list. And I think we
Yeah,
probably
we're gonna do that
all
lens.
we all have this on our list. I bet you, and that
Oh,
is
yes.
the 70 to 200
Yes.
f2.8.
By far my favorite lens.
Yeah,
Same
without
here.
a doubt.
I got it on the couch behind me. You can barely see it, but it's
Yep.
up there against the wall. 7200 f2 for the Canon f2 L lens.
Mine
Love
wa-
it.
Mine was on my camera, and I had to remove it for the show. Come on, I can't type.
Ah,
So I could 70 to 200. Come on. So I could. Whoa! Almost dropped it too.
don't drop it. What like the
Yeah, no,
video?
you don't want to do that.
Yeah. So here's my 70 to 200. You know, they're not cheap. A 2.8 lens, 7200. You know, the Nikon version is going to run you around $2,400. There is a Sigma version that is it's okay. I've owned it. It's not as good as the Nikon. You have to decide whether the off-brand is good enough for you. The Sigma version would be quite a bit less expensive, but you're going to spend some money here. But again, for me, and it sounded like you said the same thing, Tim. If I looked through Lightroom and said sort it by lenses, the
Man.
7200 would by far be my most used lens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
since I bought this lens, I would definitely agree. But now I can give one additional tip on this. I was looking for this, and I was hemming and hawing for the longest time on buying this lens because it was $2,000. It's like, do I really need to spend $2,000 on a lens? And I was out at up in Long Island. They have a Sony factory outlet, and they had the 7200 factory reconditioned for $1,500. I was like,
There you
wow,
go.
now that's really getting there. And he's like, well, yeah, and you got 12 months to pay it off interest free. I was like, oh. So I wound up
Gotcha.
getting it at that point, and I think this month was my last payment on it. Paid it off over 10 months, $187 a month, and poof, now it's mine. And
Congratulations.
I'm so pleased with that lens.
You're a father. Yeah, bouncing baby lens. Don't bounce it. But
Yeah, no.
So you were talking about third party a little bit earlier, and if it was between the Sigma, I would actually do the Tamron based on a lot of
Okay.
reviews and stuff that I've read. Just that because there was less distortion on either end than the Sigma, and it even in some cases outperformed the Canon and Nikon ones. But I ended up getting the Canon one because, well, two things. One, it's that cool white look, that white lens. I just like it. I got to be honest, that did kind of play into it. But also, it was a little bit less, the one that I got, because there's a newer version of it.
So
I got the
you Canon
older
guys think the white looks good?
Yes. Yes. Every Canon DSLR shooter wants a white L lens. It might not be the one that I have, but we all want the white lens. One of them.
Yeah,
Well, many of us do. Not everyone does.
I think the 70 to 200 lens is one that the Canon and Nikon one is going to be better than a third party. You have to decide personally whether it's that much better for the cost. Because I just pulled up the Tamron one, and it looks like it must be the higher price one here. That's $1,499. So you're looking at $1,500 versus $2,500 or so. So a good $1,000 difference. Only you can decide whether it's worth that. For me, when my Sigma versus my Nikon, the Nikon was sharper. The Nikon had better contrast. The Nikon had better colors.
Really?
Is it $1,000 better? I mean, you have to decide for yourself whether that's a
A lot
judgment
of money.
call. That's a
I mean,
judgment
that's
call.
another at least one lens. That could be.
It could.
That's,
Yeah.
I mean, that's three of these.
Right,
Three of the
exactly.
85s.
But I think
Three or four.
what we can all agree on is the 7200 2.8, not the
Yes.
F4, not the F4. The 2.8 is a lens that if you don't already have, it's something you should be working toward because you will absolutely love it when you get it. It does have some weight
Yeah.
to it. So like my mom who is getting older, obviously, and not as strong as she used to be. This may be too much weight for her, but so keep that in mind. It does have some weight to it, but it's a great lens. I love it.
Yeah, and the Canon one is an f2, so we get an extra little bit. You Canon shooters out there.
And y'all need it to even up.
Okay.
All right. So I had a couple more things. My mouse here is messing up here. So glad we're getting toward the end. And that is my. This is going to go into two things combined. So I got to pull them up both. If I can get that. Yeah.
You know what? My brain is melting. It is F28. I must be getting tired.
Ah.
Dang it. Thought we had the upper hand.
Nice try.
This is my big combo tripod mount. So I have a carbon fiber tripod, and this isn't exactly the one I have because I don't think they sell it anymore, but it was in the $700 to $800 range. So it's an expensive carbon fiber, heavy duty, no center column, no ball head or anything. It is. I have some foam pads around the main part of the legs too. I mean, that thing is just rock solid, and it's something that if I'm going to put on my 7200 or a bigger lens and I want some stability, I know I can get it from this tripod. Very, very strong. And on top of that, I have sitting the Really Right Stuff BH55 ball head, which is about a $450 ball head. It is, as you can see here, gorgeous. Absolutely.
Hold on. You said how much for the ball head?
$450.
$450.
$450. That's a lens, people. That's at
Yeah.
least one.
But this thing is gorgeous, and it is smooth. You know, that L bracket I have just slides right in there. You just clamp it in. You got adjustments for the turning and for the ball head itself. You can put it on its side. It's got the two marks where you can actually pull the ball head all the way to the side. It will hold. You know, you tighten it down, it'll hold it in that spot. It is my absolute favorite ball head. For a while, I put this ball head on my Enduro small tripod, and it definitely was way too big for that little tripod. But I love this ball head so much, and it's good because I spent a lot of money on it.
There you go.
So that's my over. You're talking about over $1,000. That ball head, the BH55. There's a couple of different versions of that. One without the clamp, one with the clamp. There's some things there to look at, but the BH55 is fantastic from Really Right Stuff.
Cool. Awesome. I think we made it through. Did we make it through?
No, I think I'll throw in my last one because, you know, you Nikon and Canon guys got to show off the camera of the year.
Okay, Sony.
The Sony A7 full body mirrorless camera.
That's a cool camera.
I actually held this camera the other day, and it was easily a third the size of my camera, and my camera is not a full frame sensor. I was just amazed at this. The only bad thing was that obviously I'd have to replace all my lenses or use an adapter. And if I remember reading this correctly, Sony is making adapters for different lens mounts as well. So you could use your Canon lenses on this. You can use your Nikon lenses on this. And I think that was probably a very smart move on their point. I think Sony's really trying to pull ahead of both Nikon and Canon right now. And this is such a small camera. It was amazing. It's like one of the NEX7s with a full frame sensor inside it.
24 megapixel. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and they sell a 36 as well. I was like,
we often talk about Sony and Canon on here, and Canon and Nikon. I'm glad people sometimes forget that Tim is Sony because there was a comment in one of the groups.
And a lot of listeners are Sony. Some listeners are Pentax.
yeah, Jeff Winkle, he's right there with me.
There was a listener in one of the groups. I can't remember where this was, but they said it's good to have when Kathleen was on, they said it was good to have a Canon shooter on because we get tired of hearing all the Nikon guys talk. And I brought up one thing. We have Seth come on all the time, who is Canon. And when it's just Tim and I'm Nikon, he's Sony. So we have a great mix.
Yeah, we really do. And we're PC and Mac.
Yeah. There's
diversity.
I think that Sony, what I was getting to with that, and I kind of got off track, is that Sony is pushing Nikon and Canon to do more, and that is good for us consumers.
Yeah, competition is great.
Competition is good.
I think at this point everybody appreciates Sony in a completely different way than ever before because they're doing incredible things, new things. They're pushing, just like you said, Sony. I mean, they're pushing Canon and Nikon to do new and better things. Canon didn't do so well with their mirrorless, but still, they're pushing them, to do more stuff.
I have known photographers who have. There was a while there where Canon was kicking Nikon's butt in noise control, and I knew a photographer who had probably $30,000 in equipment, he had some good stuff. Actually, I bought the 70 to 200 from him. He kept great care of his gear, so I got a great deal on it, and it was in great shape. But he sold everything, switched to Canon because Canon was beating Nikon. A couple years later, he decides I'm going to come back to when a D3 came out. He sold all his Canon gear, went back to Nikon.
Oh my God!
Have a little bit of patience. These guys will keep leapfrogging themselves. If
they do. If you think one's better than the other, just wait. Just wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Something else is going to happen.
Invest your money in the lenses, and the camera will come.
Right. Well, I think that's probably the worst thing is they change so often with these cameras. You cannot keep up with it. I mean, I look at it. This is a $2,000 investment, and that's just with one lens. If you get the 24-70, then you got to get additional stuff. It's like, oh my God! I when I spoke to the guy, I was like, if I did that, my wife would kill me.
Yeah. Well, he had no. I don't want to get into him personally, but he had no kids and all that kind of stuff, and made good money. So, I guess
that's a little different.
Whatever.
That's a little different. A little more flexible income.
I bought some stuff from him, so I benefited off of it, and thought I got one of the flashes that I had, and one of my old cameras I got from him, and this 7200. So I got a good deal. A couple of things none of us put on our list, and now wishing somebody did, is because I have a monitor dying. I need a new monitor, and so I'm researching on that, and I don't know, we can't talk about that now because none of us did research on it. But
get one with an IPS screen.
Yeah, so I'm looking at that, and the other thing is a computer. So I think I know Seth, you're Apple. With Apple, it's fairly easy, and as much as I criticize Apple, the one thing with Apple is their line is fairly limited. You don't have a lot of choice, but what they do make is good quality stuff. So you don't have to worry about buying junk. On the PC side, there is a humongous selection. There's too much choice.
And too much
easy
crap
to mess up.
And
you can get stuff that's the wrong spec.
And there's lots of crap in there. When I hear people saying, "I need a new laptop," and all I can spend is $200.
Yeah, I don't.
Okay.
Don't.
So, if you went to an Apple store and said, "I need a new laptop, brand new," and I can only spend $200, what would you get?
Here's what would you give you a case?
Yeah, what would you get, Seth?
Give you a case. You'd get an iPad Mini.
Can you get that?
You wouldn't even get that.
You wouldn't even get that.
16 gig, I think. $199, I think it is.
No, really?
No, an iPad Mini for the 16 gig.
I think maybe an iPod Touch if you're lucky.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't think you'd even get that. So my point there that I was making is that if you're only going to spend $200 on a laptop, expect to get a $200 laptop. You're not going to get
$319 for the 16 gig.
Yeah, you're not going to get Apple. Yeah. You're going to get, crapple.
Crapple.
So
bad.
You're gonna get what you pay for. And for me, I use a desktop because I think a lot of photographers, you need the power, but sometimes you're mobile and you need a laptop. And two laptops I got for work, these are not personal ones, are the Lenovo Yogas. So I have the 13-inch, and look how thin that is for what it is.
For a laptop?
For the 13-inch, let's see if I can get it in the camera. Yeah, there we go. And I have an orange 9-inch, or yeah, I think it's a 9-inch. And they both open up to a regular old laptop, and they fold back over, and then they're a tablet. So
that's cool.
So I think if you're looking for a laptop on the PC side, on the Apple side, it's pretty easy. On the Microsoft side, on the Windows side, something like a Lenovo Yoga. What is this called? Let me get your right name. Lenovo Yoga 11S. I said 9-inch. It's not 9-inch. It's 11-inch. 11S. Don't get the 11. Get the 11S.
What's the S stand for? Something specific?
I don't know, but the 11 is that Windows RT. It's not the full Windows operating system. The 11S is the full Windows 8 operating system. And surprisingly, you wonder, I don't need touch. Who needs touch on a laptop or a desktop? Desktop, I agree. I don't know how I'd use touch on a desktop. I use it all the freaking time on my laptop. You know, you spend probably 90% of your time on the keyboard typing, but you'll be surprised how often you just reach up and slap something down. It's so useful in a laptop, not as your main interface, but as a supplemental interface. It works very well. And now that I have it on a laptop, I don't want to have a laptop that doesn't have touch.
Wow.
So the Lenovo Yoga 13 or 11S, I think they've just come out with version 2 of one of those. Very good. You can get them in a Core i7, Core i5, whatever you want to spend there. If you're going to be doing some heavy Photoshop, you probably want to look at the Core i7.
So are you not using your Windows tablet anymore?
You mean the Surface?
Yeah.
No, I returned both of those. Because they don't have.
You know what I didn't return?
What's that?
I didn't return my iPad. I use it all the time.
I got my Nexus 7 and I love it.
Okay. Cool.
The Surface tablet or whatever you call it from Microsoft, the keyboard is I guess like an add-on keyboard for an iPad. It comes with, you can get it to come with it, but that means it's not rigid like this. This holds in this position. It's a laptop. So I like that. I can put it on my lap and I can type on it. It works very well like that. If I want to, I often use it in tablet mode where I flip it over and use it that way, as a tablet. So that works well where the Surface just wasn't doing it for me. I know a lot of people like it. It just wasn't doing it for me. So
cool.
I think we covered a lot. We went an hour and almost 40 minutes.
Yeah, considering you said this was going to be a short one today.
Are you gonna edit it down? Or are you putting it out there raw?
I always do a little bit of editing.
jpeg2RAW.
I do a little bit of editing because when we started, I got to chop off some of the start and I got to chop off some of the end because we have the after show. But I do have to do a little bit. I won't be adding the music anymore, so that'll make it easier.
No music.
But so let me go ahead and wrap up and say that if you're subscribing to the show, you can go to YouTube and subscribe there. Tim, we're almost up to 1,500 subscribers on YouTube now. A new place that we've added is Spreaker. It's audio only. It's you have Stitcher, which I think is where Seth came from Stitcher.
Yep.
We still have a good following out there on Stitcher, but we've added to Spreaker, which is also somehow connected to iHeartRadio. I don't know how that works. And our listeners out there, subscribers out there is exploding. It's up to, last time I looked, we were almost at 1,300. And
wow, that's a lot.
A little competition with Jim Collison.
He's
at 41. although he has more plays on there, so I don't know what's happening there. More people are listening to his stuff, but subscribing to ours. I don't know how that's working.
Yeah, really.
And we kid each other back and forth. But if you're on Spreaker, if you're on Stitcher, or if you're on TiVo, we have some subscribers out there on TiVo, including myself. All those places, we appreciate you doing that. If you're on iTunes, make sure you go out there and give us a review. That helps us move up in the iTunes ranking. And, leave us, come over into the Facebook groups if you want to. If you don't like Facebook, come over into the G Plus group where Seth is posting stuff almost every day or every other day.
Pretty much every day.
I'm
kind of migrating.
I'm
leaving Facebook a little bit.
Yep. Getting that group growing. We are now up to, last I checked, 112 in that group, so that's growing. It's still quite a bit smaller than our Facebook group, but it's growing pretty nicely. And it displays photos better than Facebook does. There's some things about it that I like better. But some people like to stay in Facebook, and if you do, we have the Facebook group, which is just facebook.com/groups/jpeg2RAW. And we also have a boudoir group I mentioned at the front of the show. I can't give you the link for it because there's a whole bunch of crazy numbers, but just search for JPeg2RAW, and you should be able to find it. They're both closed groups, so you have to ask to join, and we let people, we'll let you in. Just ask to join. If you have any comments or questions or anybody that you would like to see come on the show, send me an email at podcast@jpeg2RAW.com, and I'll get back in touch with you, just like Susan did last night. Tim, I know they can get to you through the podcast at jpeg2RAW thing too. Seth, how can they get a hold of you?
My pro site is design.me, spelled DEXINE, and I have a blog, which is a little bit more personal site, but it's still mostly photo related. That's just CesWhite.com. CESWhite.com.
Very good. We are, for 2014, I'm working on doing a sign-up sheet. We're going to start another show that is jpeg2RAW tips and reviews, and it's going to be users coming in. It won't be live like this one. We'll do it pre-recorded and release it through another RSS feed, where it's going to be users giving their tips on a product they own, on how to use it, or a software tip, or some kind of review on a product, whatever else. We're going to be under 10 minutes is going to be the thing there. I think Seth, we're going to try and get him to sign up for something. Brian out in our Facebook group is one of the ones that brought this up, and so he is going to sign up for something. I'm doing a sign-up sheet so everybody can do it. So be looking for that to come. I know we have Kathleen. We're trying to nail down a date for her to come in January. And we had, this is on a sad note, we had Mark Johnson. You remember he did the Semigraphs show a while back. He was scheduled for January 14th. He emailed me 2 days ago, and I'm so thankful he did this so much in advance, because some people wait to the night before or the night of, which really makes me scramble. But I really appreciate the fact that he did it a month in advance. He lives in a Colorado area that was really, really hard hit by those floods. If you remember when those floods were coming through.
Oh, yeah.
And it has really caused some issues for his family, and it messed up his house. He had a lot of structural damage. So he thought he would be ready to go in January, and he asked last night, hey, would you mind if we delayed this? And, absolutely not. I mean, absolutely, yeah. We'll delay it.
No, you must come on.
I said,
you
I meant
must
that
say,
wrong.
do what you have to do.
But
go to Starbucks.
But be
No,
here.
I'm just kidding.
No, so
No.
he was really nice about it, and he needs to take a break, from doing things like this, and actually maybe for more, I don't know, but to get things back on track. Because if you've ever been devastated by a storm, it really messes you up. Heck, I am thrown off by the fact that my one monitor out of 6 is broken, and it's messing with me the whole night. I've been off, so I can't imagine what Mark is having to deal with here. And I can't wait for him to come back on, because not only does that mean we get to have him again, but it means his life is getting back in order over there. So we wish Mark a lot of luck. He has a lot of great videos out there on YouTube. If you want to search for Mark Johnson, he was going to come on and do composites with us and walk us through a composite. So we'll have him come on whenever we have a date. It probably won't be until maybe as late as March or April. But when we have him come on, be looking for that post. I'll post that out there.
Cool.
Right. As I said at the beginning, this is the last show of the year. We're taking 2 weeks off. We'll be back in January and be watching our calendar for who's coming up. We're going to have a great 2014 coming up. So until 2014, keep it raw. Good night, everybody.
Enjoy the holidays. Happy New Year.
Good night.
Yep.